What if I just stand here? How much damage am I taking? So, as you saw there, what's up guys, GrimXV here, bringing you another Vrising video. Now, we're getting today's video out a little later, but there's a reason for that. I have been busy testing. So what we're going to go over today, we're going to look at all of the different raid changes. We're also going to take a look at every single one of the new servants and their movesets. And then I've got some trap changes to raiding as well. Now we're going to start off by actually going over the raid changes. Now, if you don't know, the biggest changes that happened this patch were that stairs became attackable and the door frame, the empty door frames, are no longer invulnerable. Now, I'm not going to expand on this too much. There are already two excellent content creators that already covered this, and I will have a link to their channels below. If you don't know them, it's Virdult and Nova. But to quickly showcase what's happening here, if I drop clan, you'll see that empty door frames like this are attackable from the outside, and they are placed in the castle at attack timer. If I attack on the inside, we still require a siege golem. The blank ones like that can be attacked, and then these, of course, require a siege golem. So what does this mean for you? So previously, there are a lot of plots on the patch in 1.0 that you could place a staircase, a double wide staircase, and then use a pillar to actually block off a part of it so that, you know, players couldn't skirt the outside. That's no longer a thing now because we can just break this pillar. So that's going to rule out a lot of base defense plots for that. As far as the door frame change, there is a reasonable difference here. Namely that, you know, bases, let's see if I can show you. So there was a strategy with plots like this where you would just use a bunch of door frames all through here, and what it essentially forced the golem to do was spawn outside and then still have to run through this entire gauntlet before they got up here to where they could be attacked. So that is no longer a thing. Now, because the inside is attackable, you can still place these on the end of a door frame or over a staircase. But what's bad about doing that now, let me see if I can grab a golem and go somewhere I've got this set up to showcase this. Alright guys, sorry about that time skip. We are back now to show you what I was going to. So just like I said earlier, you can attack stairs. Doesn't matter how far away you are, you can even just range it, and you are going to permanently keep the castle in attack timer now. Now if I go up here, and all I have to do is stand right about here, I think I can get it. Let's see. Should be able to range. Let's see. Yes. So I don't even have to go up to the choke to actually put this in attack timer or even breach. As you can see the durability is going down. So that is extremely bad. So this type of setup with the door frame no longer works at all, because the whole point of this is so that you can get them in here to activate your traps, and if they're standing way out there, nothing you build in here is going to trigger to them. So what are the options? Well, like I said, I'm not going to go into great detail, but essentially you're of two minds. Like I say, Virdult and Nova kind of covered it already, but one mind is that you need to double down on the traps and just use all staircases for the front entrance. Another mind is that you should get rid of stairs completely and just fight them outside of your base, kind of like we had to back in pre-gloom, before we had staircases and all that. We would just build our choke right here, and then if the golem came to range it, you know, we would just come down and fight them and fight outside of our base. So those are the two minds right now. Now, what I want to show you is what these new servants do, because honestly, I was in the mind of staircases not being a thing, but then I built this to just completely lock them in as much as possible after seeing these servants. So let's get into the moveset without enough stalling. We'll look at the servants first, and then like I said, I do have a few other things to show you. So the way we're going to do this, I am going to be invulnerable. The great thing about this is that when you're invulnerable, the golem will still take damage, so we can test out the golem damage. So I'm going to spawn a few more of these. Alright, so the first one we're going to look at here is the Dread Cleaver. I think these guys are really cool. Go ahead and leave clan. Let these guys get to going. So these guys do a crap ton of damage. Their moveset is rather simple, but you're going to see them here. Yep, they're going to coat their weapon, come at you, and this, from what I've seen, just does double damage, which is really insane. And if I get some distance on them, see, they take off running. So this is kind of like the Knight 1.0 from Silverlight, if you're familiar with that mob's movesets. So these guys are pretty cool. And like I say, they do a crap ton of damage to the golem. I'm going to let you see this here. Oh, they're going to prevent me from getting in, aren't they? Whoa, where'd you go? Get it, please. Okay, I got it this time. Alright. So, I won't take damage, but the Golem will. So, let me aggro this guy over here as well. So, 106, 106. I'm not sure why this guy hasn't hit me. He might be bugged out. 240, 240. And, yeah, so pretty decent damage. Now, I am wearing Brute Blood. I am fully buffed out and tanked here. Or not buffed out, but I am pretty tanky. And I'm doing that just to kind of show you what's possible. So I've got Creature Blood stacked with Brute for max HP. And then in my passives, I'm also rocking the Dark Enchantment and Bastion. So I might go invulnerable here really quick just to see. Let's do this way. Let's see if there's a difference between me being invulnerable and not before we get any deeper to the test here. Sorry, I'm still kind of in test mode, guys, so you'll have to bear with me, but these guys are absolutely cracked, and you're going to see why in a little bit. Alright, so, yeah, so I was right. Damage is pretty much the same here, so that's good. Alright, get that back. Now, I think it's kind of funny you can open golems like this. Or open doors with golems. You can even summon servants and all that. It's kind of funny. Next one we're going to look at is the Viper. Now, there is a bug with these guys that I've noticed, and I will show you that as well. Okay, so as you saw there, 302, these guys hit pretty hard. Now, their moveset is fairly easy to dodge, though. I will say, like, outside of a Golem, it's pretty easy to dodge, but they do a ton of damage. You saw that spray there just completely shred me, like the Golem's already down. So, the part about these guys that is bugged as they do it, so this move right here, this move will actually go through walls. So, I don't know if they'll stay aggro if I TP out. Might have to get rid of a door here, but I'll put a clip up. I've got a clip where they just completely hit me through a wall, and it just completely kind of dumbfounded me. So definitely already told Jeremy about that, so hopefully they are getting that in the next hotfix, because that is a bit broken and has a lot of strong implications for rating. But those guys are okay. To be honest with you, these two that we've reviewed so far, not really that crazy about. The ones coming up though, insane, guys. So let's go ahead and do this. Show you the Sentinel. Now these guys in particular, you want at least one. And I'm convinced you want at least one, and you're going to see why right here. So their moveset isn't anything too special. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you get to see it. I'm stunned. Not in-capped, stunned. Look, he did it again. In the Golem. Now, the reason why this is so impactful is because if you don't know, in this patch, you cannot snare the Golem anymore. The Golem cannot be snared. He can't be slowed, but he can be stunned. Now, and they do crazy damage. Now, I don't know if this is intended or not. Like I say, because the Vipers are bugged, this one very well may be a bug as well. But, I mean, look at this. This is insane, the amount of lockdown. The snares, the stuns. These guys are really, really impressive. Alright, we're going to rejoin. Get these guys back in here. Come on, guys. Are you in there, buddy? Get in there. There we go. Alright. So, next up, we're going to look at the Alchemist. I should spawn. Look at him. He just walked right through. I knew it. I knew it. Look at that swagger walk. Alright, get one more Golem here, and then we are going to get in and look at the Dart Flingers. Now, I think these Dart Flinger guys are really cool, but they are extremely squishy. But I can see a world where they're viable. Namely, I think when you have, like, maybe a 4-stack. But look at that. Quick throws, and they do crazy damage, but they do attack in burst. That's the only thing. But they chunk. So if you have a squad of these, it's kind of reminds me of the Rifleman from Silverlight, but a lot more damage. Just let that moveset play out. Let them kill me. Unfortunately, that is pretty much all they do. That's all they have in their kit. And like I say, they are very squishy. So not a whole lot to write home about these. Get them back in here. Alright. I might have to skip one golem here and just do a combined test for this one, which should be fine. Don't want to make you guys wait on the summoning timer. So next we're going to look at Striker here. Now I love these guys. Absolutely love them. And you'll see why. So these guys' moveset, that initial charge that they do is a stun. So they stun you off the rip. The first time you engage them, they're going to stun you, and it sucks. Now after that, they do just kind of auto attack you like this. And as you see, they already broke the golem. But these auto attacks push you back. And it's kind of hard to keep these guys off of you, especially when you pair them with something like a Sentinel. I'll show you a clip where I was testing this earlier as well. Just got absolutely bum rushed by these guys. There's one more ability they do that I want them to show you. I'm not sure if it's a HP. You know, sometimes mobs have, there it is, right there, this shield. So if I poke that shield, it's actually going to do splash damage, and it hurts, guys. That shield hurts like crazy. So in the comp I've put together, I'm actually running 2 of these, and they will just run past everyone, kind of holding that shield, just like leading the pack, which is insane because it's blocking any type of projectile damage the enemy player is going to be throwing at your guys. And then, you know, I don't want to spoil what we're going to get into here, but yeah, these guys are crazy. Alright, and then lastly here, we're going to look at the Alchemist, which is by far just the most busted of the bunch, hands down. You want at least 3 of these in your setup, in my opinion. So look at this. The DLT here damages the golem. They also, like the Sentinels, have kind of a corrupted phase where they'll like drink a potion almost and just start throwing rapid fire. So really crazy damage. Now I think the reason why they're not draining me as fast is because I have Bastion on. Because earlier, and I'll show that clip as well, earlier when I didn't have Bastion and this HP, they just melted me so fast. So I think having Brute Blood for the parries, just like we had to do with Warrior, is still in play big time here. Alright, but that is all of the new servants and their movesets. Now there are some other units out in the zone, but they are highly irrelevant. You know, the guys carrying the barrels and all that, they don't really have any special moves, but these are the main guys and what they do. If you want my opinion for what I think is best, just to sum it up, Alchemist definitely number 1, Strikers and Sentinel, really close race for number 2. I would give it to Strikers outright just because of that initial charge being so strong. These guys are like a better version of the Brute, because although they have to be closer to you, that initial, like, you know, there's no wind up time like the Brutes have. Now they don't go as far as the Brutes, just kind of while we're on the topic here. From what I've tested, they only go about 2 tile length, but still, that is, you know, if you're doing a choke setup like what we've got up there, that is plenty of room to just kind of fight, and then when you can't fight no more, pop the door, have like 8 of them rush out, kind of just wreak havoc, right? So that's for sure an option. The Sentinel guys, the fact that they stun is what really makes these guys shine. They do have a couple other cool movesets. Now they don't have the level up aura, if you're wondering about that, because you know, if you go and roam in the new zone over there, sometimes you'll run into mobs at these, and they do have the level R where they make everyone else higher, but that does not apply here. I'm not sure what that glow does, but it has no effect on level because, you know, they're all the same level. I made them all max. But that's my pick. The Viper and Dart Flinger, not really that great. I could see the Viper being really good in certain choke situations just because of that damage, but I found that they don't do it often enough to make it really worth it. Maybe I should test a full setup of like 8 of these. Now that could be crazy, especially if you have a narrow choke. So maybe that could be really good. Dread Cleavers, although they do damage, I'm not really a fan. Not really a fan of Dread Cleavers, but my top 3 for sure: Sentinel, Striker, Alchemist. All right, enough going on about that. Let's get into the next thing I have to tell you. So, as far as my comp that I'm running with this, what I've landed on, and this is early, guys, so it may not be the best, but this is the most well-rounded comp I've come up with. So I've got 3 Alchemists, I have 2 Strikers, 2 Clerics, and 1 Sentinel. So what this does, and I'll play some clips where I was testing this as I kind of talk through this, but what this does is as soon as you aggro them, these Strikers are going to rush forward, kind of barreling towards you with their shields out, and they will block any type of ranged pistol auto or anything you shoot at them, and then the Sentinel is going to come right behind them. And the Sentinel, it kind of like creates an opening for the Sentinel to get its stun down that you really wouldn't expect at first. But because the Striker's autos knock you back, if you're fighting them outside of a Golem, that just really just leaves you up to getting smacked by all those crazy AoEs the Sentinel has. And then to make matters worse, you have the Alchemist behind them throwing out the DOTs that do a ton of damage. Those area just kind of plague fields. And then to sum it up, for your ranged unit, you have Cleric that is going to be shooting slowing AoE or slowing projectiles. So this is what I'm really, really liking so far from what I've tested. Now, I still need to see this in an actual raid to know for sure, but I think this is going to be strong. So that said, we are going to take a look at what they do to a Golem, kind of testing them in this choke. Now, if you're curious about what I did, you will see exactly how to do this in Nova's video. So once again, kind of plugging them, their video is in the description. But to sum it up really quickly, all you do is place your initial staircase here, place this staircase here, build up and across, and then once you have that platform above this one, you can build down. Now, there are going to be some plots, like Nova said, that you can't. The reason why this is strong is because you can still do this. There are some plots that don't work for, but this is not one of them. You can still do that with this plot just fine. So he's got a solution in his video about how to deal with that as well. But anyway, the other crazy thing, these guys, right? The Primal Bloods. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh man, I can have V-Bloods fight for me. It's going to be so cool. And it's not going to be as cool as you think, unfortunately. So not only do these guys not really do any noticeable damage to a Golem. Is that Golem still in here? Yeah. So I'm going to show you the damage it does to it. But a Golem pretty much just kind of ignores these guys from what I've tested. And there may be certain units you can spawn. I know that you can't get Terraclaw. I've tried and not gotten him. One cool mention that you could get in this is Jade, the Vampire Hunter, because she will like shoot stunning projectiles over and over. But the problem with that is they shoot you too. But as you see, I'm not really taking any noticeable damage. I mean, this is still plenty of time for me to back up. They're not really going to drain me. And of course, I was just kind of chilling in the acid spit there, but it's nothing really too crazy. Now, the other problem, let's say you're backing up because you don't want this thing to hit you too, right? And you're kind of taking the time to heal up. One, they're not really that difficult to defeat when you're max level. Like, I'm doing this kind of like casually, just talking. But there's one more big thing I kind of want you to see here. Once I get this down, you know, here I can just, I'll just do this. Let's just get that out of here. There we go. So once it is down, that's it. Like, so the enemy raiding you has two options. They can either ignore this and prevent another one from spawning, because I know you're probably thinking, hey, I'll just load this up. These are cheap resources. We'll just load it up, open the door, and let them go crazy. No. If you leave a door open, the Golem can walk in here and actually take these while in Golem form. As we saw, I could interact with servants and all that, so that works. I've tested it. And then the other thing, if a raider is raiding you, all they have to do to enable that is just not drain this thing. Now, even when they do drain it, it's going to give them a bunch of health orbs and just heal them up from any damage they took during the fight. So that's not good either. So not only are you giving them free shard materials, but you're also healing them and just depriving yourself of resources. So what do? Well, that means that we go back to the Blood Golem. That's really the only option, guys. Now, there are some changes even with this, and I will show them to you really quick. Just get this guy out here to fight me. So I'm going to get him sort of low. Now, he does still do his stun. He still does decent damage to the Golem. Way more than at least the V-Bloods that I've tested so far. So that's all still good. But the big change to this guy is he no longer regens his HP. So before in 1.0, when you got him low, you would disengage the fight and he would just, you know, go back, reset, and immediately start regenning HP. And that is no longer a thing. He does regen some. Oh, I think I just lost connection there. Sorry about that. I had a slight disconnect there. I'm actually streaming this from my desktop. But he does regain some, but it's nowhere near what he once did. Like before, it was practically instant. So now, you know, he'll go down, and at this point, he would have already been full. And as you can see, he's only regened a little bit. So they've slowed down that regen timer quite a bit. So not the worst thing, just something to be mindful of. You'll have to kind of keep an eye on resources, maybe keep some handy so this guy can heal up. And we're going to go ahead and just get rid of this guy as well. Now let's take a look at servants. Let's take a look at what these guys do. And I'm not going to make you wait on the golem timer here. We'll actually jump back to when the golem is ready so I can showcase that for you. Alright guys, these things are finally up here. So we're going to come up here and see what they do. Now like I say, I really enjoy these guys. And they are starting to roam out a little bit, so that's not really the norm. But if I come about right here, they're going to already trigger me. 200 damage right off the bat. Now, as you can see, the striker there, or not the striker, the Sentinel did get a little bit ahead. And you are still going to be able to trail these guys, especially when you do a setup like this. And what I mean by trail, for anyone that isn't familiar with raiding, whenever you raid someone, you kind of want to just poke your head in and then pull back if they have servants out like that, just so that you can isolate and kill them. And I will mention as well that that strategy in particular is going to be very strong now, just because you can do that and prevent the enemy from putting them in, reviving them at all. Did something else spawn in there? Oh, another one must have spawned. Whoops. I forgot to take that stuff out of there. I guess I'll just walk in the chaos real quick and take it. Maybe I live. He's helping me. Can I take it? There we go. Alright, so we took that. Now he is actually messing them up. So you can see the Blood Golem's still a force, dude. That thing is crazy. And I'm not going to make it out of here, am I? I did make it out. Cool. So like I say, there may be a more optimal loadout for these. This is actually the first time I've tested them out in a choke specifically, but as you can see, the striker there running forward with that shield, just kind of blocking, and then the Sentinel just comes from behind doing that kind of 1-2 punch combo, and that's what took the golem out there. Now I'm going to let these guys heal up a little bit, and I'm actually going to test one more thing. So I will cut the video, and then I'll come back after I've tested that out. Alright guys, I finally got the change I wanted set up, but then I forgot to place a golem. So gotta wait a little bit more for that. Nero, if you're watching this, bro, I gotta figure out how you do that instantly. But what I changed here, I went ahead and just swapped out the 2 strikers for 2 more alchemists. I wanted to try this because I noticed the strikers were body blocking on the ramp, and it was kind of causing some weird interactions. So maybe having the more alchemists will just kind of obliterate things a bit quicker. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this test, because I have the door open, it's not really a true raid case scenario, because typically in a raid, whenever you would pop that, the golem would be likely already up here, or maybe even just standing there ranging. One thing I did want to mention, if you guys build a choke like this, definitely take advantage of the AoE spells. Reign of Chaos is also nice. You can also do things like Wolf and Wraith Spear like this. So all really good options. And then I wanted to try to showcase one more thing here too. Just an alternative if you don't want to do this type of setup. Let's see. So this is not great for a lot of reasons. Mainly because the golem has to stand right here. I mean, he can stand right here and still attack everything. But I wanted to try to come up with a funnel system to where the golem kind of has to like come through this long walkway and attack. And one way you could do this is by pushing these doors here back. Because if the golem's standing right here attacking, he can't hit these on the side, but he can hit these here and this pillar here. So it would be a little bit different. Like it would look something like this. Just so that he came up just that bit much more, so that you know, you could aggro the traps here. So yeah, I don't think this is ideal. I just wanted to showcase it because I was racking my brain trying to figure out how to make this work. I did something similar to this on the other plot, the plot we were just at, but I do think that if you're going to use stairs at all, that Nero's setup is definitely a little bit better. Alright, but all that said, let's go back and get in the golem here. Hey, right on time. Alright, oh, and I have an idea here. What I'll do is I will open the door and then drop to kind of simulate as if I am up there already on something, breaking it, and the trap was sprung. Alright, so we'll place ourselves right here. Whoops. And then we'll go ahead and leave clan. And what do they do here? So right away, ton of projectiles come out. Now it looks like I do make it down the ramp. Biggest change I've noticed so far is that they're not as close as they were with the strikers. Man, that parry is just something else. What if I just stand here? How much damage am I taking? So, as you saw there, I got stunned by the Sentinel. I actually wasn't trying to stop there. He just stunned me and I was forced to eat all that. That's why I think those guys are strong. You know what? I might have more than one of those, to be honest. Because if you can get just one of those snares to land, all of these alchemists are just going to be putting a world of hurt on you. So, maybe 3 alchemists, 3 sentinel, or 4 alchemists, 2 sentinel, and 2 clerics. One of those might be what I suggest to do. But anyway, we are going to end the video here, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one, getting to see these new busted tactics here. Raid is close, guys. The raid week is almost here, so hope you guys are making your final preparations. And as always, thank you so much for watching. This is GrimXV, signing off.